know, with October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it's very important that we educate ourselves about what to look for. Joining me today is Hanna Lulgjuraj-Murray. She actually is here and wrote a book, Lived to Tell It, and she has been through domestic violence. Honestly, Hanna, like no one I've ever heard of. This book is absolutely astounding. It was almost like reading a fiction story, but this is your story, so thanks for being here with us and sharing your story.
Thank you.
So you were born in Yugoslavia and moved here when you were 10 months old.
Yes.
Okay, so would you say that this has something to do with the way you were raised in terms of finding yourself in a relationship like this?
Well, the way I was raised was the man rules and the woman obeys. So whatever he directed me to do, I was brought up to listen to my husband and do what he says.
Was that role modeled by your father?
Father and mother, generations after generations.
Okay, but not specifically physical abuse. Did
No.
you see physical abuse?
I never saw physical abuse in my family.
Okay.
My father was a very good man, still is a very good man, sweet, loving, attentive, kind.
But the woman is supposed to be a little bit more subservient in the marriage.
Yes.
So you did have an arranged marriage even here in the U.S.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And this was your first husband?
My very first husband, yes. And I was 17 when I married.
17, you married him. He showed no signs of abuse.
None. He was a wonderful man for the first 6 years, and then after our second daughter was born, I stayed at my mom's for a few weeks because I had just had a C-section. So the custom is to stay at the mom's and recuperate, if you will, while, you know, she takes care of, because I had two babies at that time. I had a 2-year-old and then I had my newborn. And during that time period, it seems like he got into something that was just destroying him at the same time, and
Which in turn he tried to destroy you.
Yes.
I mean, this book, as I was reading it, as he comes into the bedroom and he asks you for $50,000 out of the blue, you need to get me $50,000.
yes.
Was he on drugs?
Well, you know, the assumption is that there were drugs involved because when the police did a search in our home, they did find a scale in our basement.
Okay.
So that was the assumption, but to this day, we still don't know what he needed that money for.
Okay, so he asked you for the $50,000. You said, I don't have it. I'm not sure what you're talking about. What did he do next?
Well, he told me that I need to go to my dad and get the money. And it was very difficult for me to go to my father because I had just stayed 6 weeks at my parents'. And the first thing my father was going to ask me is, what do you need the money
Why?
for? Why? And I couldn't say he needed it because he didn't want me to tell my father that he needed it. So I was really stuck between the two, and I wasn't really sure what to do. So I kept telling him, you go to my dad. You talk to him. You explain to him what the situation is, and he will help you. And he was just in a rage. He just would not have it.
And he shot a gun.
Well, he told me if I can't have it from you alive, I'll get double from you dead.
Okay.
And he had insured me in a couple life insurance policies.
And at that moment, he shot a gun next to your head.
Yes, he pulled out his gun, and he shot it right at me, 2 feet away from me.
So here's this man you love, that you've had a wonderful relationship, and suddenly he's
Yes.
shooting a gun next to you.
Right.
Did you think he was capable of shooting you?
No.
So 1 month later, he did shoot you.
He attempted to shoot me 3 days prior. He attempted to shoot me 3 days prior, and with the grace of God, I moved, and the gun went off, and it went right by my temple and into the mattress. But I never thought that he would go through with it and completely shoot me for it. I just never dreamed of it.
And he did.
And he did. It went right through my chest.
Take us to that day.
That day. It was January the 9th, and I was on the phone with my coworkers, and he comes in around lunchtime in a complete rage. Complete, tense, irritated, scrambling, in a complete rage. And I noticed that in his hand he had a gun, and that gun was in a sock. And I tried to stall to see if hopefully he can calm down a little bit. And I continued talking to my coworkers on the phone. When I finally saw that he was not around the area, he had left that room, I hung up with my coworkers and I proceeded to go into the bedroom, into our master bath. And I hear him yelling out for me, calling out for me. And I yelled back, I'm in the bedroom. So the house was literally shaking as he is stomping through the hallway into our bedroom. And he just comes up to me, and I walk out of the master bathroom, and he's about 2-3 feet away from me, and he says, "Do you have the money?" And I just looked at him and I said, "Paul, what money? I don't have any money. You need to go to my dad's." And before I could even finish my statement, he just looked at me, he pulled the gun out, and he says, "If I don't have it from you alive, I'll get double from you dead." And he pulled the trigger.
And you remember your young daughter saying, "Mommy, Mommy."
Yes, I looked at him after he shot me because I was still standing. And I said, "You did it. You shot me for money." And I took a couple of steps and I fell in his arms. And I vaguely remember being lying on the bed, and then all of a sudden I'm on the floor. And I feel my hair moving. I feel somebody caressing my head and tugging on my hair. And I hear, "Mommy, Mommy." And it was my 2-year-old.
And your newborn was in the room at the time as
My
well,
newborn
sleeping.
was in the room. Yes, my newborn was in the room, sleeping.
So by the grace of God, you lived. You survived this. You find yourself in ICU.
Yes, I find myself in ICU, and I see all these people around me, and for a split moment, I didn't even know where I was or what was happening, and then I remembered. And I thought, "Oh my gosh, he shot
So
me."
your first husband's name was Paul.
Yes.
Did he immediately get sent off to jail?
No, what had happened is when he thought I was dead, so he called for the police. He thought I was dead. When they tried working on me to see if, everyone thought I was dead, actually. They didn't think that I was alive for this. And they went out and they told him, "She's still alive. She's still breathing." And then he pulls the gun out of his pocket and says, "Here's the gun. I shot her by accident."
And this unravels the rest of the story, basically,
Yes.
because as I was reading your Live to Tell It, he comes into the hospital room, very loving, asks your parents if he could have a moment with you,
Yes.
and basically tells you, if you tell the police, your parents, I will kill the children, I will kill you, I already have a hitman taken care of in case I'm in
Yes.
jail. So your hands are tied at this point.
Yes, he actually threatened me right there in the hospital room. My parents were out of the room, and I believed his threats. He put that fear in my heart like no one else. I believed because he
Because he
did
did
a
it.
hospital. I'm in here right now, so I knew that he would do it. So to save my family, save my little brother, and save my parents, I sacrificed my life, and I went back to him.
And he eventually is deported.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that. We're out of time, unfortunately.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing
Thank
your story
you.
today.
Thank you so
You
much.
do have a book signing.
I do. November the 5th at the Scottsdale location, Barnes & Noble,
Okay.
from 2 to 4 at the 101 in Shea.
Okay, a true hero, Hanna Murray, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us today. Up next, we've got your workout minute right here on a Wednesday on the Morning Scramble.
Okay, Jeremy, you've got me going through a workout this morning. What are we doing?
Lisa, what we're doing today is the speed ladder. What I'm going to have you start with, 2 feet in each box, running all the way through it. Nice job, Lisa. She's keeping her arms moving, feet are moving in. Go with your own pace here. You can adjust. Next one we're going into, Lisa, is that icky shuffle. We're going lateral steps, in, up. Nice job, Lisa. This training is great for just neuromuscular balance and training. Working your entire body here, of course, your heart rate. Great for people of all ages, all conditions. Lisa, the next one we're doing is the Ali shuffle, just like the boxer. She's got 1 foot in the box. She's doing scissor kicks, working herself up and down the ladder, staying light on her feet, keeping her arms moving the entire time. Again, having fun while she's doing it. A lot of this is enjoying it while you're training your entire body. Lisa's going back for a second round there. This is something that you can do multiple times, work yourself up to 5 minutes.